Hello and welcome back to Automotive Tales. On today's episode, it's MOT time for the Audi, and we've got various other bits and pieces in HQ 2.0 that we are messing with. For once, it's not a Land Rover. How long was I under there trying to talk that up? And how long did it take you?
No, I thought you were weak.
And so, you might recognise this as the back of a Transit Connect van. And that's the first thing we're doing. We're putting a tow bar on it because it might be quite useful. We looked at doing it to the Audi A6 and it was going to be 850 quid because I wanted a removable tow bar. We're going to put it on the Audi because, well, if you don't have a removable tow bar, it looks a bit nasty. You don't want what's on here like that sticking out the back of a nice Audi, but for a van, yeah, it does the job. So a nice little Witter tow bar. It actually bolts on. There's two bolt holes on the chassis rail that are already threaded, so it's two M12 by 175 bolts in that bring these like little bits that come down. I'll go underneath and get some photos in a second. And then this bar bolts on, which is what he's talking up now, and then it's just a tow bar that bolts on the back. Well, very good. Have you done it?
You thought you didn't have much space that side?
Oh, now you're complaining because you've got an exhaust in the way.
At least I know what an exhaust is. Where's that floppy fuel for you idiot?
Got an extension on that.
I want a short torque.
So while we're doing little jobs on cars, I thought I'd give you a quick update on the Audi. And you'll notice I'm sat in the back of the car because of this. So this is the back of the seat. So it should be on the back of the seat like this. But on the driver's side, it's not. Now, it came off the other day, and I noticed the seat was feeling a bit funny. But obviously, this isn't structural to the seat. But what is structural is this thing. Now, this odd little mechanism, it's actually turned round because I've already taken it off. Has these little bits here that move and these little motors that control it. And what this does is when you push a little button on the side of the seat, it does lumbar support. So it pushes the bottom of the seat here. And what had happened is this is all strung and sprung and all sorts of other stuff. And then it has this little rivet down here, which, if I turn it all the way around, you can see has failed. It's snapped clean off, which meant this was basically hanging out the back of the seat. And every time I sat down, it was putting weight on this, which has popped this off as well. So I've got new clips for this, but first I have to fix this. So I've got to drill this rivet out and then either put a new rivet in or possibly bolt it back together. There's a little hole just in the bottom of the base of the seat. This bit of black, where you can see my finger, this black metal here. So I've got to do all of that, reassemble this, and then I'll have my lumbar support back, and I'll be able to click back in the back of the seat with these little pins. In fact, you can see the pins are actually still in the seat, so I need to get those out as well. While I am really enjoying this Audi, it seems that some of the trim isn't quite up to spec. So the next job after I've done this is also in the boot. So the boot panel, which you can just about make out here where my finger is, has also come loose. So every time you close the boot, it flaps about and makes a horrible noise. So I've got some new clips for that, so hopefully I can fix all of that as well. So as you can see, that has all nicely been drilled out with the angle grinder. So that is ready to go back into the car. And then we're just going to use this little nut and washer assembly because it's a bit fiddly to get to. I can't be bothered trying to get a rivet gun. I don't think I've got rivets that big either down to that bit of the car, so I think it'd be much easier with a little spanner and a screwdriver. Okay, so here is how the lumbar support works. So you can actually move the position of the lumbar up and down with the up and down button on the side of the seat, and then the other motor, you might not be able to see it moving, but it's effectively pushing that white plastic pad in and out of the seat. Okay, well, now we've proved that's all working. It's quite as simple as hooking all of these things back together. So this bit of fabric that goes under the seat hooks onto the bottom of the seat back base, if you will. and then that little hook there hooks over the metalwork here, and then the whole lot clips in here. So I've actually bought some new clips, because the ones that come from the factory, here's one I found earlier, have these little extra notches on them, and they're almost impossible to get back out because you can't close them up enough. I ended up having to bend the tangs flat on most of them and push them in through the seat rather than pull them out the back, because they just would not come out. These ones don't have those annoying little features, so should, in theory, just push straight back in theory. Here it goes. Nope. Nope. Sort of looks all right, but I don't think that's actually attached.
A few moments later.
But using two hands and not filming on a stupid phone and giving a good old thump, and ta-da, that is attached again. And that's it. I no longer have a massive gaping hole in the back of the seat. That one hasn't come off yet, so I assume that one still works. But it looks so much better. There's always bits left over at the end of the job, but satisfyingly so, they are bits of broken rivet and some of the old clips. So I'm fairly happy with that. And we're at it again with the trim on the Audi. So this boot panel has been flapping around at this top edge here. And much like the seat, you can see there's some little holes in here, which the top of the panel pushes into. Well, the clips for those were bent, and you can see we've had a go at getting it back in, and it's scratched up all the paintwork. I also noticed that the screw hole here and the screw hole here, so there's a pair of screws that hold this trim panel in, which are inside. This is a box that holds the warning triangle here. Obviously somebody's taken all the screws out, not opened up the triangle box, and then just ragged the cover off and ripped this out, which is pretty ham-fisted. So I'm going to have a go at gluing those in, just so that they're where they should be. Whether they'll be structural or not, probably not, but at least they're back in place and it'll look a bit neater. I also noticed, I can't remember which side it is, I think it's this side. No, not that side. Over here, yeah, so it's split there as well. So I'm going to stick a little bit of glue on that and just try and tidy it up a bit, because it rattles a little bit when you open and close the boot, which is quite annoying. I know it's not that much of a thing in the grand scheme, but you know, I'm actually quite enjoying this car, so I'd like to tidy a few things up. So as you can probably tell by the fact I'm using torchlight, it has taken a little while for the glue to dry, but I have glued up the cracks here and here. I realised that some of these little plastic rivets on the top of the boot panel had broken, and the missing bits for the screws, they're all glued in, and it looks like it's all set nice and hard. So next job is to put all this back together, but unfortunately I can't hold the light and the phone and screw this all together. So you're probably going to see this tomorrow when there's some daylight, but hopefully all back in one piece. So it is another day and quite a lot colder. We appear to have found winter very quickly. I need to show you the finished product of all my messing around with the boot in the Audi. So there you have it. All of this panel, which was rattling around and loose before, is now all very nicely fitted and snug into the window. So no more loose panels. And I have another bit I need to do on the back of this car. The £1,500 Audi that's definitely just a get me through car, I've not decided I quite like. So I noticed while I was hovering around the boot doing all of the trim that these lights really have faded, but these ones haven't, so I thought maybe these have been replaced at some point. But since then, I went to a car park. I managed to find in one car park 4 C6 A6 Avants. 4, all of this generation. And all of them have really shiny corner lights and very dull boot lights. So I don't know what it is. Something about the plastic is maybe different on these. So I'm going to replace these. I've got a pair of Valeo units, which arrived earlier this week at some expense, which really it didn't need, but I am now going to change these. And it isn't entirely cosmetic. It's not just because I've become a tart and I quite like this car, but this lens is actually cracked, and I think it's letting water in, so you can see there's some moisture behind the lens there, and I do occasionally get a little bit of moisture on the bottom of the panel here, so I'm not quite sure what that is all about. I presume it's coming in through here. Possibly the seals have failed as well, if this is quite an old light unit. So we're going to have a go at making it all nice and shiny, and I think it will look a lot nicer at the back with a consistently shiny gloss on the lights. You may have also noticed I put a little sticker on the back of the car, so I need to put some of these on the rest of my cars. But it already works because the garage that did the MOT said they'd check my channel out when they saw the little YouTube thing. So yeah. And as you probably saw in an earlier video, we had the 944 out to clean. We've done loads of photos on it. It is now for sale. I think by the time this video goes out, it might have finished in auction. It might still be in auction. If it is still at auction, I'll repeat the link down below. From the cleaning video. But yeah, she looks so cool. So cool. I'm a bit sad this has to go. Right, let's try this YouTube trick thing. Better. Better still. Yes! Yes! Magic for the win. Now I've just got to remove the film from here. That's going to be very, very satisfying. So just going back to that point about the MOT, so the car's just come back for its MOT. It had one advisory for an exhaust clamp that was loose, which the garage have sorted for me. And we put 2 brand new tyres on the back for winter, because actually the tyre on this side was different to the one on the other side. The one on the other side had reasonable tread, but this was looking a bit tatty. And it was starting to give me a whirring noise out the back, which I thought was a wheel bearing. Turns out it's not. It was just a terrible tyre. So same tyres that are on the front. These Davanti tyres, it's what they use at the specialist I've been taking the car to. They swear by them. I've now had them on the front axle and the rear axle of this car, and they seem absolutely fine. So thank you to the folks at S-Line who have sorted this car out for me. It is going to go back for one other thing, because I can't bother to get it on the lift. It's massive, and getting it on my little scissor lift could be hard work. Is that when you wash the windscreen, after 2 or 3 washes, it then starts a siphon and it drains the entire fluid tank, which I may have forgotten to tell them. So it went to the MOT garage next door, and they passed it, but they said since it's had its MOT, it has appeared to empty its bowels onto their forecourt, and that's because it drained all of the washer fluid out of the bottle in one go, thanks to whatever set of pipes that sit behind the bumper. One of them's obviously got a hole in them, or one of the non-return valves has failed, and it just pours all of its washer fluid out, which is slightly annoying. So they're going to take the bumper off, find out what's going on there, and sort that out. So yeah, this little cheap Audi has seen quite a lot. So we've had a wheel bearing, we've done the AC on it a while ago, just put the MOT on it. So I now had 4 new tyres, I had the rear brakes done. I've now done all the boot trim repairs. It's had the new lights on the back. I've fixed all of the back of the driver's seat that we saw early in the episode. So yeah, I've ended up doing quite a lot to it, but hopefully it'll be faithful to us for a little while yet. I'd like to try and get another sort of 50,000-60,000 miles out of it. So let's see how we get on. So, amongst all the things that are going on at Automotive Tales in the garage, you'll notice we did a video on this car, quite a successful video a few weeks ago. You'll notice it is now in HQ 2.0 because somebody broke the water pump. So it's just huh? So may have left all of its coolant on the road at some point. Turns out the water pump had failed quite catastrophically, but now seems to be running all right. So they're just messing around with the cooling system, which, believe it or not, has some between 16 and 22 litres, which is rather undefined and slightly irritating, but quite a lot of coolant in it. So they're just bleeding the system through now. Well, that don't sound good. So that, you keep the oil cap on when it's running, right? Yeah. Because then it sounds fine. Yeah. So just out of interest, you can kind of see where the engine sits in the box cut. So that right there is the engine in the box cut. And actually, there's a new alternator that had to go on after Joe took the car on. But yeah, you have to take all this back panel out, and then you just pump straight into the engine there, which is actually sort of handy. A bit irritating, but you can get to quite a lot of the engine from there. It's fine with the engine running in here. Will do it. Straight into a tree. Just watch the trailer hitch at the front. Yeah, you got left hand down, you can clear the trailer hitch. Very good. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.